Hey, what's up? My name is Coach Oyama. I have a passion to help you improve. Here's I specialize in macro, and I do all my coaching for free. All you got to do is DM me. So just in case you're curious of like what I do or like what I've done before, I play support also at a high level. Like GM, I hit 4.3, whatever. It's not my strong suit. My strong suit is coaching macro. Here's some of the teams that I've done. All right, let's get right into the VOD review. Hopefully by the end of this, I can give you three things that'll help you improve your gameplay. Um, um, and especially since this is just throwing this out there, this is a high level top or OD tournament. I'm assuming that you understand the fundamentals of your composition, and I think this VOD review will be a little more high level macro and a little more directional instead of giving you direct tips on small micro things that you need to do, giving you a better idea of the bigger macro image of how you can better improve your decision making and your thinking. And so it's about your mentality in which you go into these team fights. But let's just see. I'm gonna go ahead and see through your. We might zoom out and look at team fights from a third person perspective. Okay, so going into the fight, of course, Ryan Brawl mirror. What I'm thinking right now is currently how do you serve your win condition and how do you serve your team's overall goal and purpose. Okay, so beautiful. I like playing around the wall. Just a little micro issue. I don't think you hit that. You might have not hit that shift. It was a bit risky of a shift. Okay, really nice. I want to look at this team fight once more from the third person perspective just to see the overall image. It's a bit hard when action's very fast to see it from a first person perspective. Okay, yeah, they didn't. They grouped together and didn't play for the wall. And you guys play for your win condition very well. You got a really nice wall, and they failed to save their Cassidy there. That spiraled out of control in that fight. I really like the gameplay so far. Let's see. I think coaching, especially OD, is hard to coach without listening to the what's that called? Comms. I'm paying attention to the team fight. Sorry. Okay, going into this fight, you have okay. Let's look at this window here because maybe there's a miscommunication in your team, but this is a more of a micro and maybe a bit of a macro mistake. I don't know what inspired you to do this window, but depending on your motives for doing this window, of course you can see it now in the grander scheme of things. But the better way to understand when should I window and what the better time to window, I'm sure you already know this, is mid fight or pre-fight, mid-fight, late fight. You already won this fight. It's done. Their win condition is over. The only thing that they could possibly do is pop ultimates to win this fight or get a cheeky pick from a like brawl flank from the Cassidy or yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless they're gonna 1v1 you and someone's gonna solo carry and hero play. That fight there, you were trying to clean up in the end fight, but you didn't properly address the corner. And so let's to mitigate that risk, think of the macro of this fight is already won. Let's think of the win condition later. And then also, I can tell there's a lack of ult tracking because we're all playing out in the open, and there wasn't really a plan. Going into this fight, of course, you know, it's probably not your job in the communication structure because of, you know, main support, ult track, main tank, fight plan. But in my opinion, anyone can fight plan, anyone can ult track. If you go into ranked and you do it, any role, even on DPS when you're focused very hard on your mechanics, you can still be able to ult track and do this high level macro. Ult track, ult track, ult track. In this fight, you can start this fight so much better by ult tracking, but you let them have the tempo since the beginning. And if you're communicating with your team and you can ult track, high level players all ult track at the same time. They don't rely on one person to ult track. We let them through into the choke here, and we know that their win conditions are possibly speed high noon, speed shatter, or window fire strike. And we're all lined up ready for the window, but for our team, I feel like the better plan here is instead of dry fighting, going early and forcing them to use all their ults, or going early and expecting to win the team fight and not let them set up to be able to use their ults and enable their win conditions into this fight, which would be their window here and that chokehold and being able to play the angles and catch you out in the open like this. So if you were to go first and set the tempo with your Reinhardt Shatter by scouting and speeding through and shattering, or baiting the window and then shattering the window and being prepared for this window, it would have been a much better team fight in which you guys could have either forced more ults or even maybe even won this fight. I don't think he would win the fight, but okay. This is a communication error. I guarantee you at OD top 500 level, it wasn't the fact that he thought he could win, or it wasn't the fact that he knew that was a good shatter. He just didn't know that that fight was lost. So please clarify in your comms. Oh wait, you're the red team. Well, it's a good macro lesson to learn from your enemies anyways. But yeah, nevertheless, that enemy team wasn't prepared for it, and you guys set the tempo by going through first. It's good to address the fact that they have the ultimates, and I feel like you guys did a good job of that, so congrats. Okay, going into this, here, let me reanalyze this fight from your perspective on anything that you guys could have done better than. Okay. Or you reset and then you re-go in here. Yeah, just the fact that you have shatter window early. The one thing that I would say about this window is try to keep the window a bit more flush with the choke. Just a tiny thing, but if they hide right here, it's very hard for your team to be able to utilize the window. If you slant it a little, then it's a bit better. But yeah, like this Cassidy right here is hard to contest with the window, and it's just a small inefficiency. But other than that, this was a good window. I like your play. Yeah, you're ready for that shout out. You block it with the lamp. Wait a second. 4K replay. Wait a second. No, you don't block it with the lamp. Ah, okay, so that was a misplay. So, make sure that doesn't happen again. That's just a micro misplay. That would have been really cool if lamp blocked the shadow. No, but he just killed it. Going into this fight, just thinking about the different possibilities. I don't know what's going to happen, but you do have speed high noon, and they do have high noon. You have beat coming up at the same time, so you guys can use your positioning to your advantage and leverage that positioning. Okay, you go early, you go fast. Very nice. I like this play. Someone needs to destroy the lamp, though. I don't. And then let me look from a third-person perspective, because at this level of Overwatch, it's a team effort. Your efforts in the macro are equivalent to your teammates' efforts, and if you coordinate together, okay, yeah, it should have been a speed high noon instead of the flank high noon from the top, because it was a miscommunication that your mate was going early, so this positioning from your Cassidy doesn't align with your overall goal of the team fight, or the overall method that you were trying to play in your team fight. It's a very risky positioning for your Cassidy, because you could have gotten forced out with the other Cassidy, and you can't heal him, you can't pocket him as much as the other one, but he does end up killing the other Cassidy, so I don't see anything wrong with your gameplay so far, or any like major inefficiencies. Let's just keep on going through. I think this is going to end up just me looking at the team macro of what's going on and how you can possibly improve your team macro. Yeah, watching, because I did a different body view and it was a platinum body view in comp. I think watching scrims is a very different thing than watching in comp. So just to justify why I'm watching this in third person, I'm watching your decisions that you're making rather than your micro. Because at this level, it's so much more teamwork rather than individual play. And individual play can carry team fights, but the way to gain this consistency is through okay, this window here is very interesting. I feel like you could have waited it out a little more. You do force them back, but see, they kite it out and they have speed. What I would like to see is either you start this fight. Okay, your Ryan is also low and wasn't communicated to window fire strike, so he's not like completely ready. It's not the fastest thing out there. One piece of advice that I have for you that's like on a high tier level is it's good to go early, but sometimes have patience. Blowing on cold water doesn't make it freeze any faster. If you're in this situation where they're losing resources and you don't need your window to push them back, like right here, they're starting to go back already, and you're stabilizing on cart. They would lose this fight if they continue to play here, because you have so much more leverage on your wall, your win condition. And if you just stayed here and waited for your win condition to pop off, this Mei is getting forced out anyways, because your Cassidy has a better flank and he has a better pocketing and ability to force her out, and so they lose their win condition. They have to back up here. So if you waited, they back up, they reset, and then you go into the next fight. You have way more cart progress, and it's a small thing, but the small things add up. Okay. Going into this fight, speed high noon. They counter with the Mayfers. Were you ready with left? You got walls, and then okay. I'm assuming that you called a reset. Okay. Here, another small inefficiency on the macro level. When you reset, you reset. There's no need to waste time. Yeah, see this stagger here. That's 5 seconds, but 5 seconds is a lot of seconds, man. One small thing, but just Bill Lamper. Just say die or get out. That's what my team calls. That's what I recommend to Die or get out, or fight's done, save ults. No ults. Any one of those works. But the die and get out is especially important because it'll save a couple of seconds, and a couple of seconds is everything. Going into this fight, again, setting tempo. Okay, let me rewatch this one more time with the spectator overlay. And then, how do you manage your cooldowns here? Your positioning is great. I just want to make sure that there's nothing wrong with your cooldowns here. Okay. Going into this fight, I know that you know that they have high noon. I know that you know that they're that you don't need to use your lamp there because your win condition here is your shatter, and so if you saved your lamp to be able to enable your win condition, it's a higher risk play. But I think that you're at the level where you can take that risk of I could lamp here and guarantee the fact that I'll survive this May here, but I'd rather shift and just better enable my win condition and have a higher chance of winning the fight even if I die. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a wait, let me see if there's anything you could have done to better prevent this from happening other than your own positioning. Okay, I can tell from your micro and your movement here. You're lost, yeah. Calm down and breathe, especially into this last fight. Like, if you compare this gameplay to back here, when you're a little bit more focused, you're looking at targets through the wall, you're addressing what's happening while it's happening. Versus this fight here. Oh, where is it? This fight here, where you're close to the card, you panic because you're close to the ending. No need to panic. Everything's going according to plan. We ult tracked, we team fight plan, or we pre-fight plan. I can tell your crosshair is everywhere, your movement is everywhere. So let's get that under control. No, at this point it's about the small mistakes, and it's just one fight. Yeah, it's just one fight, but an OWL player would never let that happen. Okay. I can tell you're getting nervous towards the end there, because as a GM player, you should never be getting hit by a fire strike. Unless, it never is a strong word, but as a GM player, you should be avoiding way more fire strikes than getting hit by any. Unless that's just bad luck, but I have a feeling you're getting a bit nervous into this tournament here. Play like Dante, just turn off your face. Calm your breathing, play like Dante, turn off your face. Address these things with a calm sense, stable, level-minded head. Let's look at this. What I don't like here, okay, your team composition is a very death wall composition where if you get walled or if the enemy is playing for angles, you aren't able to properly punish and enable your win condition of brawling with your Rhine if you're not grouped on your Rhine. And some may argue that it is better to spread out here so you're more flexible across the map to be able to speed and be able to close in, but especially if you know that they're going to be on Rhine, because I rolled out on Rhine before, it's better to hug the statue first and address the issue of if they rush onto your Rhine, you're there with the Rhine and you can play around the statue and be in that situation where if they roll out on spam, then you can have your Rhine shield you and you go back across. But default and enable your win condition on that default here, because especially if you get this wall here and they follow up on the wall with a counter wall, you're not able to properly assess that. You're not able to properly deal with that counter wall, and you're going to get punished really hard for it. It's a very tight allowance for mistakes. So unless you're oh wow, that was honestly unlucky from getting hit by your Mei. But then again, it's not necessarily the most unlucky thing because you're not playing for your win condition. You're not playing close up with your Rhine and ready to follow up on a way better wall. I think also your team you can facilitate a better rotation through communication. As soon as your wall comes out and you guys fail your wall, remember that is your win condition. And their team composition, especially since they've swapped to Hanzo, they want more angles, they want more time to be able to enable the Hanzo. Sorry for the dog in the background, but the longer this team fight goes on, the more chances are that they're going to win it over your Cassidy. And your Cassidy wants to go way faster than this Hanzo. So if you prolong this fight out, instead of hard resetting, having one person contest point and everyone regains the resources and stops limiting or draining out and extending the team fight, thinking rubber bands stretching out slowly, it would be a bit better for your to enable your win condition and give you a better chance at consistency in winning fights. Okay, let's go into this next team fight here. Oh, you guys do retake it. Let's see. Your positioning, cooldown usage. Beautiful flank from your Cassidy. I think he messes up his movement. Oh, he gets slammed against the wall. Yeah, when you're flankers, okay, in Brawl, one quick macro lesson if you didn't already know, you probably already know, is Brawl is a stalemate when you're against the opponent unless you have your abilities to be able to break through and try to create an advantage above the enemy. So when Brawl is a stalemate, it's a very good high risk reward play for your DPS, your flanking DPS to take a flank and try to get a kill. Except when that happens, you need to be as a support ready to bail them out of that kill, because if they get a kill, then nothing changes. Your focus is still in main and you just continue to go and slaughter the enemy team. But if your Cassidy gets a pick or has to be bailed out on the side, that's the risk, and you have to accept that risk by acknowledging that your Cassidy is going to flank and being a bit more conscious about that risk. And so here, this is a really good flank. If you're looking at your Cassidy instead of looking at your Reinhardt here, you probably could have saved him, or you would have had a slight bit chance of saving him, and the small things really matter. So understanding the macro of the situation and keeping yourself level-headed, I think that's one very important. Remember, to help you become a better player, to keep this in a okay, very nice. Oh, you're positioning here. I think there's a miscommunication about how hard you guys were going. But to help you become a better player, eventually micro won't cut it. Just if you have aimbot, I don't think owl level players really matter or really care if you have aimbot if your positioning and your awareness is not at the level that it needs to be. And so, one mindset to help you take better accountability for your decision making and your awareness and improve your awareness instead of just aim better is understanding that at a high level, it's not about the aiming, it's about the awareness. And even though you're doing the right things, it's about having that mindset to be able to open your mind and be able to see like what you could possibly even do better and have that decision making in your pocket. So, needless to say, I really do appreciate the high-level mechanics. It's not every day that you see a high-level player, and it's very good. Let me look at this window really quick. Okay, I like this window. I really like this window. It's in the mid-fight, they use their abilities and cooldowns, and so now they have to reposition. You split them, and now it's time to pinch. This is a very natural pinch in which they're split and you just clean up, and then boom. Okay, so for you guys can definitely take the chance and walk out here and look for more picks. Don't immediately default. Be like water. Be flexible. Flow into the space and look for it. And as soon as you see that you're not able to get it, then you can back up. But I'm assuming right now you guys are already defaulting to in your communication structure. Ult track, yelling at your Lucio, ult track, and then now your Reinhardt is fight planning right now. And your fight plan, you guys have Blizzard, you have High Noon, you should just go first. They have beat, you can force the beat and just go first. You're at a really good choke point for your mate to be able to use that wall. Yep, okay. Bait out the window and then you go. I'm not sure I like that as much as going first because you can just stuff them and guarantee that that fight wins rather than taking the risk of getting someone picked like that. But that's a preference. Alright, let's go into this next fight here. Alright, playing this corner, you forfeited the last corner because you understand that they have freeze and that's a really bad position for you. Okay, so how you can better play rather than just aiming better is understanding your part in the win condition and how you can better enable your win condition. Here, you guys have Speed, High Noon, and Shatter, so I'm not sure what the communication was here, because I would assume that you would have Speed, High Noon, force their ult, and then Shatter. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. This team fight is everyone pressing Q at the same time. It's a bit hard to watch and analyze and like have a concrete plan of what's going on, but let's see what's up. I would say some possibilities for you to improve your gameplay here are you're positioning very, very riskily with your Cassidy here. You know that if don't rely on your Lucio to be able to hit the beat to save you from a freeze or to be able to save you from that Reinhardt shatter. Get ready for that Reinhardt shatter, get ready for the freeze, and get ready to bail your Lucio out on his beat. If you can be on that next level where like you make sure that he doesn't Ajax, you know, in that 1 out of 100 times that that option is available to you and you do save him, it's so much better than being on the low ground, and it's just a small inefficiency that you could better take. Better clean up. Okay, this window is not necessary. It was in the end fight, or is it? Okay, yeah, it was. Never mind. Never mind. That was a. I like you taking that window. I'd rather see you win the fight and waste a window rather than not win the fight. You know, everyone will. Some people will complain. I might even complain on a different day that you wasted the window because you technically won that fight as soon as you windowed. But better play it safe than sorry. Let's see, into this fight, what is your win condition? It's still that Mei wall. How are you wanting to play? You want to play explosive. No one has any ultimates here. One more time. Let me watch this. Okay, yeah. Just a standard dry fight. Play for the Mei wall. You got the Ryan pick. Now you guys group and push. It must be a communication error because your Reinhardt isn't pushing here. Yeah, for as a support, you can manage the flow of the. I'm sure you already know, but you can manage your flow and say to your Reinhardt, I got you, so he's better able to go in. What the hell is this? What is this Mei wall? This is some creative stuff. I don't think it's necessary because it's better to just wall off an enemy tank and force whatever cooldowns that they have to be able to prevent the freeze from absolutely slaughtering them. Oh my god, so lucky. If that Reinhardt slammed that Mei into the wall, that would have been a disaster. Yeah, but that's not a really you thing. I think your positioning, yeah, there's nothing that you can do better in that fight. It's just a pre-fight plan. Go into the fight. Into this fight here. Okay, you guys get your Cassidy picked. Let's see what you do. The fight is still winnable. Okay. Yeah, it's very hard. I could tell you to ult track and look to jump over the Rhine Shatter, but that's just like too high of an expectation. Maybe if you're Owl level, then I'd have that expectation for you, but that is not something you can very consistently do to improve your gameplay on. Okay, the counter window into the high noon. I need to rewatch this from your perspective. Okay, very risky play. Very risky play. Maybe I'm oversighting something, but you're just standing out in the open. One headshot, one body shot, you're like gone. So watch out for that. Address that risk, please. You panic here. I feel like this is an unnecessary lamp, and I think you know it. Yeah, your Rhine isn't dying. You have window here. You're healing him. I think saving your lamp for your high noon would have been a bit better, but nonetheless, pretty okay. Well played.
10 seconds
Dragon splitting your column. Watching these team fights is pretty hard because there's a lot of teamwork things that you individually cannot fix for your team. That'll drastically increase your team's odds of winning. For example, backing up into this corner here rather than... What even happened? Oh, okay, he's trying to peel. That's what happened. We canceled the mail. That was crazy though. But I feel like this was very preventable.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. This is a very interesting team fight. I feel like the only thing that I could have said to you would be go up here, and it might be a bit better of an angle to exit boots up here. You do have to deal with the Hanzo as a major threat while you're up there. You do get a better angle onto your teammates and the enemies. So Yeah. See, the high-level games are very hard to give advice on because there are so many times where you're just screwed over by your teammates not doing their job, or your teammates doing their job poorly, or just a lack. It doesn't even have to be people doing their job poorly. It could just be an inefficiency. Yeah. Standard. Yeah, I mean, call them out with freeze. Mid-fight, they have no speed. They can't escape. You're just shooting. Yeah, there's good plays. Okay, let me see this window here.
30 seconds remaining.
Let them up.
Oh no, I'm in submarine audio mode. Did you get shouted out of that window? Okay, yeah, so your Ryan got shouted out of that window. You guys beat out of this. I feel like that was a panic lamp, so perhaps watch your micro a little. I feel like as you go through these rounds, your micro progressively gets more panicky. Also, it was a tournament, so okay, let's go through the 3 things that I wanted. They're more like high-level concepts rather than individual things that you can immediately improve into your gameplay, because they don't show up every single team fight. That's the thing. 1, ult track on your own and be able to properly mitigate the risks of these ultimates coming out. You can jump over the shatters, and or not necessarily that I want you jumping over the shatters, but more so you position in a way in which you are ready for that shatter, and you can better lamp anyone who needs it and be like even better of a support because you're not getting caught out by anything else and you're like above. It's hard to put into words, but you know, it's just like, oh shoot, our BAP survived that and lamped us. He's a really good player. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. You can get to that point where you're by tracking the ultimates as threats. 2, better enabling your win condition and positioning around your win condition. First point, play with your Mei and be able to default with your Mei and your Reinhardt to be able to, of course, it's a little bit of a play style, like gameplay style of how you wish to operate your team. But I do recommend on a Mei v Mei, stack as hard as you can, and so you can mitigate the effects of their wall if they get a really good wall. Because you know it's going to happen eventually. It's not even about how you play; it's about whether or not their Mei gets a good wall. And 3. Look at your ultimate usage in the end fight, and towards the late fight, because I noticed that you like to use your ultimate towards the late fight to try to clean up fights, whereas you can just wait, let things have patience, use your ultimate in the next fight, or be able to provide more value with your ultimate at a different part of the team fight rather than already winning a team fight. I think those, yeah, they're not like too big of issues actually. More so, I would touch on the micro and say calm down. Your aim gets really jittery towards the end and it starts to affect, I notice, your decision making, your positioning, your cooldown usage. So if you can, instead of really honing in on your macro, hone in on your micro first and be able to get that at the point where it's second nature and you can start thinking about the macro more consistently. And it's about consistent improvement and consistent gameplay in which you'll find more success. So yeah, consider thinking about breathing first. You're in a tournament, stress is high. Breathe, and then we can get to the macro of those 3 things.